Community services, I don't see Cheryl here tonight. Any boards or committees that have met recently? Anybody? I know that the Valentine Project, we met last week with Sumner, and we've got an upcoming meeting this Wednesday with them. We also have an upcoming meeting with Gordon Trucking and Skillings and Conway are working on a MOU with Gordon Trucking on the Steward Rd project, and they're meeting this Thursday. And that's all I have. I don't know if anybody else has anything else. Does any city council member have any issues or input?
Yes, I do. I passed out a letter tonight to the council members. Passed out a letter tonight to the council members that there was a temporary construction easement on Steward Road on the Gordon properties, and that was canceled as of the 12th of July, and the computers were down, so I could not get a copy of the cover letter. But so that means that anything that happens on Stewart Road that is 100% city expense. The Gordon family has spelled out their wishes in this, and as far as I know, I was never made aware of any of this letter. I don't know if any other council members were or not. I was sick during this part a little bit, so something could have went past me, but I wanted to be sure that everybody had it, and the gentleman's name is on there that heads up the development of the property. Basically, what it says is that the area that they had given us the right to use for access and fill and whatever was supposed to be cleaned up by, let me see here, in July. And nothing's been done on it. So I don't think that we have been made 100% aware of everything that's been going on the Stewart Road project. So I myself, at least, I'm going to get a little more involved in it and see, make sure that we know where we're going.
Well, I'll communicate with Gary tomorrow, Gary Richardson from Skillings and Conway, and talk to him about this document and see if he's prepared at least by Thursday's meeting with Gordon Trucking, that we can communicate this issue and find out where we got to go with it. Any other input, questions?
Or something.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm ready to talk.
Okay, go ahead.
No, did you have something? So I'd like to talk about insurance and dis-incorporation. The last council meeting, we created an ad hoc committee that I think was Councilmember Guier, Councilmember Platinum, and me to study the issue. Following that, I initiated some conversations with MRSC about getting some legal guidance from them, some free legal guidance from them about what happens, and I kind of identified it in two different phases. The first one was what happens when we lose insurance but we still operate as a city. And as I looked at even the most aggressive timelines for disincorporation, every scenario would happen after January 1st. So there's at least some period of time where we will likely exist as a city without insurance, absent some change somewhere else. So I asked him, what happens there, and then also, how do we transition out some of, I think, Gary's questions and also Dwayne's questions about how do we how do we ensure, and Rachel's as well, how do we ensure those transition of services if we cease to exist as a city? This morning there was a conference call that Councilman Guier and I participated in as a follow-up with MRSC. We gave them, I think, 2 weeks to research the issue and come back to us. Again, we ended up with more questions than answers, but I think the one thing that we did come to the conclusion, a consensus on, was that the worst-case scenario is for the city of Pacific to exist and operate as a city without insurance coverage. As we looked at the operations that we have and how those work, again, right at some of the very questions that Gary talked about. What happens on January 1st, or the first working day after January 1st, when folks are supposed to show up for work and they don't have insurance to protect them? I think some of us around the council have made our own individual decisions about what happens to us as council members come that time. But as far as the services, there really weren't any good answers. MRSC had spent 2 weeks looking at this, and they just flat admitted to us this morning, this hasn't happened before, where a city just loses its insurance coverage. They don't know what's going to happen. The last disincorporation of a city was 50 or 60 years ago, and that was a city that was significantly smaller than the city of Pacific. And so I think we're in the unfortunate circumstance of blazing some new territory here that nobody really knows what the right answer is. In fact, we may not know until after the fact when all the litigation is settled on it. So Leanne and I had started, we need to throw Josh in some more. Leanne and I had started examining the issue when disincorporation would have to happen, what the process is for that, some of the timelines, and I've also started looking at how do we phase out and transfer out some of the services that the city provides. Assets would be dealt with by a receiver during the disincorporation process, but it's the services I think that we're really worried about. How do we ensure that homes are still inhabitable, water and sewer are still provided, law enforcement services are provided, some of those, garbage still gets picked up, that kind of stuff. And I believe that there's a meeting on Thursday, hopefully somebody can confirm this, meeting on Thursday with city representatives, including the mayor's office, and representatives from Canfield and Associates. I'm seeing heads nod. Do we know kind of what that's about? Are we hopeful of continuation of coverage?
We have an agenda to talk about at that meeting.
Is insurance coverage after January 1 on the agenda?
It is on the
Good.
agenda. I cannot, because I don't know, tell you how any of that's going to unfold. I do know that is the topic of conversation at that meeting. What can we do to get coverage back or get coverage elsewhere? That's the whole purpose of the meeting.
So looking at the timeline that Leanne and I did today, if we were forced if we had no other option but to disincorporate, the soonest that would happen would be a February 12th ballot measure. In order to get a February 12th ballot measure, this council would have to enact a resolution proposing disincorporation by, November 12th. That's like 3 weeks from today, 3 weeks and 2 days from today. So we have one more scheduled council meeting, and we would have to act at that council meeting to pass the resolution to disincorporate. So considering that there's a meeting for Thursday with that very topic, I'd like us to consider scheduling a special meeting 1 week from today. This is a 5-Monday month, and hopefully none of us have already scheduled things for the 5th Monday, and schedule a meeting now, post the announcements, and have the sole topic of that meeting be insurance coverage, and for the whole council to pick up where our committee will be by that point, about how we transfer services, looking at the timelines, and getting ourselves prepared for 2 weeks from that point for a possible resolution to disincorporate. And if there's magic that comes out of Thursday's meeting and we get word back that says, hey, we're good till 2014, or all of our problems are gone, then we can cancel it. We can all watch Monday Night Football. But I think at this point we should probably be prepared to do that.
So can we have that posted at special meeting for? Yes.
So is that the council's wish to have a special meeting?
Well, do we necessarily have to call a special meeting? Can't we just continue this meeting?
I'm sure we could continue it, yeah. I mean, either, I don't know really the mechanical difference, but as long as we can meet as a body.
Well, and I think one of the reasons why we were thinking about calling a special meeting is that way we can cancel it after Thursday's meeting. If we don't find it necessary to have that meeting on Monday, we can just cancel it,
Oh,
but
all right.
post it.
Okay, all right.
That was why we had thought about going ahead and making it a special meeting, so if there's some positive feedback that comes out of Thursday, we don't feel it's necessary to have that special meeting on Monday, it's canceled, there's no harm done.
All right.
Councilman
I'm
Holden?
assuming that James made a motion, I second it.
Sure it was.
Yes.
So it's been moved and seconded, we have a special meeting specifically around the insurance issues of the city. Any other discussion from the council?
The date?
Monday, 29th, I believe.
That's right, David.
6:30.
Go ahead.
I was just wondering if there's any chance we could have either in person or by phone a Canfield representative for that meeting.
There's a council representative, both can be at the meeting on Thursday,
But I mean, if council has questions at this fifth Monday meeting as a result of that?
depending on that, I
Yeah.
think we could invite them.
Could you,
I will be at that meeting,
Okay.
just so you know, I am going to be there, if I could extend that invitation.
Any comments from the citizens?
As you all know, I'm chairing the committee to recall the mayor. Everybody said we wouldn't have it at this point. We have. The money's been raised to have it at this point. Even though he said he favors the recall, he appealed it, set state Supreme Court. Now we're going to raise the money to find it there. If he hadn't appealed it, we could have had it on a December ballot. Since he's appealing, it's up first and after the first of the year. People said we couldn't do it, we're gonna do it. If we have to sell cookies on the street, we're gonna raise the money, we're gonna do it. I'm meeting with a group of big business people in the town of Civic tomorrow. I have 100% of their support so far. The union's supporting us, the insurance big gestures that they're kind of supporting us too. Before you make a drastic decision to dis-incorporate, I'd like for you to keep these things in mind. We're going forward. We've got the red appeal that he hasn't answered to yet. We've got the recall in progress. He's not going to win the Supreme Court. His arguments that he's filed already will not hold up. So, I have a pipe dream right now. Sounds crazy, but this whole thing is crazy because nobody's ever experienced it before. Every time I turn around, somebody says, we've never had this happen before. Here's my pipe dream. In December, I'll have endorsements from most of the major player businesses in town. I'm working Thomas most of them. With our attorney, the city attorney working together, there might be a remote possibility that we can get an extension on our insurance until this whole thing's cleaned up. Bear that in mind, because that's my goal, and that's what I'm shooting for. Thank you.
good.
Not to correct you, but I just want to make it clear, the city attorney has nothing to do with the recall process.
So, I understand that,
Completely separate from
but between the two attorneys,
any action.
make a request with the endorsements from the businesses, ask for the insurance company to consider giving us an extension. It'd be highly appreciated.
One point on that, the city council doesn't, even if we do vote in favor of a disincorporation proposition to the voters, the council's action on it is not final. Disincorporation would still be something that goes on a public ballot that the voters of the city get to decide. I honestly don't know what happens if we put it to the voters and it fails. But it is up to the voters to decide whether we get incorporated.
Well, with a little bit of hope, you mentioned February ballot, both the recall and the disincorporation might be on the same ballot.
That could be
Could be interesting.
So, one thing we want to make clear too, even if we end up voting on it on our December 12th meeting, it doesn't mean we're moving forward. It's just we have a timeline that we have to have it voted on, or a council ordinance.
I understand that. I just
And
want to
so
make
we
it
have to
clear.
meet that deadline. Even if we got time to cancel, we got time to say, no, we don't want this, but just in case, we have to have a backup plan. We got to take care of the citizens.
I understand that, I appreciate that. But I just wanted the council to be aware that what we're doing is separate from everything else, and what my personal fighting figure is. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and on that need for a backup plan, I would note, the reason you need a backup plan on this is if the city council doesn't vote to authorize a disincorporation, then one of two things happens. Some group of citizens has to get together a petition drive to get enough signatures to authorize a disincorporation vote. And the majority of the residents of the city, it's a lot of signatures. Or we languish as a failed city for 2 full years before the state is allowed to step in and start a disincorporation proceeding.
Any other council members have issues, concerns, bring up? Thank you. I don't see anybody from the park board here tonight. Is there anybody? Planning commission? Howard, you got anything to say?
No.
I don't see anybody from the civil service. All right, resolution number 12-1202, authorizing a contract for public safety testing. John, did you want to talk about that on that?
I was under the understanding at the last council meeting, the council voted to pass that, didn't we?
I thought we did.
I thought we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, I'm trying to, well, it's on the agenda, that's why I
Yeah,
brought it
I
up.
was wondering if there's something different on it.
I told civil service, the council had approved it.
Do you recall whether we,
Yeah, but I thought that, there was something on the resolution, because it was handwritten.
I remember now, the Civil Service Commission had, the Secretary had approved it, the Commission had not yet
That's
approved it,
correct.
so this incorporates the approval of the Commission into the whereas. I don't know if we actually have to. I would ask the attorney whether we should.
I would. It's already been approved once, the only difference being secretary versus commission.
I move to approve resolution 12-1203.
1202?
Okay, 1203.
Second.
The move in second, resolution number 12-1202, a resolution of the City Council, City of Pacific, Washington, authorizing a contract for public safety testing. This is an organization that pre-qualifies applicants for the police department and creates a selection funds list. So, any comments from the council?
There's a $500 a year fee associated with that, as I recall. And but that will allow us to get officers in place more quickly than if we use our own civil service commission.
Great.
Councilmember, any other council member have a comment? Any?
Councilmember Olsey's question, not a question, but comment about the $500, that covers all advertising. And currently, we spend more with the Seattle Times than $500 when we do advertise.
Yeah, that covers the advertising, the background check, the testing, and the whole cycle.
Any comments from the citizens? Hearing none. It's been moved and second, resolution number 12-1202, authorizing contract with public safety testing. Roll call of council.
Josh Putnam.
Aye.
James McMahon.
Aye.
John Jones.
Aye.
Leanne Guyer. Aye. Gary Holsey.
Aye.
Clint Steiger.
Aye.
Thank you, Jim. All right, let's see what we got. Next here. We have a bond release.
Frank?
This is for the bond on Fifth Street for the repair of the sewer. All the work was done, found the tapes that show the before and after of the sewer, and it does show that it was fixed, and the previous engineer approved it, so I think it's time that the city release the bond.
It's council pleasure. It's been moved. Second. Councilmember Hall, do you have any comments?
I think the bond was a 2-year bond, the work's done, there's no sense in keeping the bond in place.
Councilmember Putnam?
I'd agree, as long as we've reviewed those records and everything's clean, then I'm all in favor.
I was gonna ask Clint if he was,
Yes, I have copies of the picturing, and we do have the tape. We will have a written certification, but we have the tape and everything, which shows the quality of the work. So I'm happy with it.
Is there any comments from the citizens? Hearing none, it's been moved and second that the bond will be released. Roll call of council.
Josh Putnam.
Aye.
James McMahon.
Aye.
John Jones.
Aye.
Leanne Guyer. Aye. Gary Holsey.
Aye.
Clint Steiger.
Aye.
Thanks, Frank. All right, score.
Well, we had a mix-up. The council asked I to go to workshop, and I thought Angelica she was waiting for me to make sure that it was on the agenda, and I didn't do that. I thought that it had moved to council because it was not on the workshop. So I gave this to you last council meeting, but if you would not feel comfortable discussing it at a council meeting, I can push it back another couple weeks.
Could you clarify so everybody in the audience understands what the score is?
The score is a jail facility that 7 cities, I believe, own, and there are several contract cities in our area that we buy beds at a reduced rate to handle our daily population of inmates. And SCORE has a medical facility, dental facility, a psych ward. Once our inmate goes in to SCORE, we don't have to transport to the hospital or dentist to do the things we're doing now, plus all prescriptions and medical care are covered within our $90 a day bed cost. We are using SCORE now, but it's $135 a day. When we do, we are responsible for, I have 2 beds at $90 a day, whether we use them or not, but we usually have over a 2-person population, so I think the cost savings, we can finally predict. The house, prisoner lodging has always been a crapshoot, and we take a stab. This year, it was reduced, I think it's $80,000 in the budget, and we're on track. Cost us about $120,000. Betty, did I get those numbers wrong? Well, what is our, budget for prisoner lodging? Do you have the, okay.
Have it with me.
So I think that, yes,
I've got it. At least according to your staff report, our 2012 prisoner lodging expenses on target to cost approximately $110,000. The budget for 2012 is $90,000.
all right. So that's varied every year from 70,000, and it used to be up to about 150,000 years ago. So that's one benefit, is that we know we're gonna spend 64,000. And I would anticipate additional need for lodging. I can't really predict that, but it should be some significantly lower than what we budgeted for this year.
So we've got two beds contracted at $135.
Oh, that's $90. When we contract, it goes from 135 to 90.
Okay, so, but right now, we've got two beds at 135 a day.
We're not committed right now. We do
When
those,
we use them, we
correct.
pay 135.
Yes.
If we commit to buying two beds per day, we can get that down to $90.
That's right.
Okay, and that's just a matter of managing where we book our,
Well, what we've done is, I've sent out a directive that we exclusively use SCORE. Buckley Jail went out of business, and they were our primary facility,
okay,
but we spend more there. And this eliminates the need for transporting prisoners, because there's the second part of this was a port of court, which is
Right.
video arraignment.
and those are two separate proposals that they have. They're offering us the two contract beds at $90, and then the additional beds at $90, and separately, that we could do one or the other or both.
Yeah, they offered us to get in our pilot program free of charge for 18 months.
That's the port of court.
Yes, and then that would eliminate our cost for corrections officers transporting inmates. Yes,
Does that $90 include the port of court?
the port, there is no cost in the port of court. That's an 18-month trial basis.
So, question I have is for the council, should we not have this done by resolution, or do we need to make an ordinance modification to the budget associated with this, since we're under the budget, do you know, Betty, whether we,
You need to, it's a contract. Contracts need to be adopted by resolution.
so, can you, prepare
Yes,
the resolution so that we can, move this forward?
yes.
Okay, well then we'll, push it off to the next workshop, and get it through.
That's fine. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
For both of those, to do them both together, I'm assuming, at least my preference is to do the two beds at $90 and the port of court. And, it sounds like they're both gonna save us money.
It's still a contract,
Yeah.
even if it doesn't cost us money, so yeah, we still have resolution on it.
Thank you.
Since it all included in the same contract.
We have, new business, we have a utility waiver request. I don't know if that person